Hello guys, welcome back to the course. In this video, we are going to get to know more about the infectious disease datasets that we're going to use in this project. So we're going to display the first few rows of the datasets. We're going to display the structure of the datasets. We're going to display the shape and dimensions of the datasets. We're going to find out how many columns and how many rows that our dataset has. And we're also going to display the data type for each column. Okay, so now let's get started, guys. I'm going to add another block of code and I'm going to type in data.head like this, and I'm going to hit compile. As you guys can see, these are the first 5 rows of our data set. And you might be wondering why it started from 0, because in Python and also in other programming languages, we start counting from 0, right? So 0 is like the first index. Okay, so as you guys can see, we have like 10 columns. So we have this is county, year, sex, count, populations, rate, lower confidence interval and upper confidence interval, and lastly we have unstable, but I'm not really sure about this column. As you guys can see, this column doesn't have value. Okay, so now what we're going to do next is to display the info, right? So just add another block of code and type in data.info like this, and I'm going to hit compile. Okay, so this is the information about our data sets. As you guys can see, we have like 10 columns in total, and these are the data type for each column. So we have object, integer, float. Okay, so now let's add another block of code, and we are going to type in data.shape like this. We're going to display the shape of the data, all right? So we're going to find out like how many columns and how many rows that our data set has. So I'm going to hit compile. As you guys can see, in total, we have 141,777 rows and 10 columns. So this is very big data sets. That's the reason why it took a while to upload these data sets. So it took like 2 minutes, because when the data size is small, usually it only took like few seconds to upload it, right? Okay, so now let's add another block of code. Now we're going to describe our data. So just type in data describe like this, and let's hit compile. Okay guys, so if you click on this icon, you'll be able to visualize this data, right? So just click on this icon, guys. It will automatically visualize this data set. Okay, so just wait. The process might take like couple minutes because the size of this data set is big. Okay, as you guys can see, this is like the visualizations of the data. Look at this. Okay, so now let's add another block of code, and what we're going to do next is to type in data.columns, and I'm going to hit compile. Here we go. So these are 10 columns in our data, right? So we have this is county, year, sex, count, populations, rate, lower confidence interval, upper confidence interval, and unstable. But this column doesn't have value. Okay, then the next thing that we're going to do is to display the data type for each column. So I'm going to add another block of code, and I'm going to type in data.dtype with S. So just click compile. As you guys can see, this is the output that we got. So for the first column, this is the data type is object. For the second column, county, the data type is also object. For the third column, year, the data type is integer. For the fourth column, sex, the data type is object. For the fifth column, count, the data type is integer. For column number 6, populations, the data type is integer. For column number 7, the data type is float. For column number 8, the data type is float. And the same thing for the next column, the data type is float. And for the last column, unstable, the data type is object, right? So for those of you who might be wondering what is the difference between float and integer, so float is decimals, right? So for example, like 3.5, that's decimals, right? So it is float. If we're talking about integer, it is like a whole number. For example, like 15 or 10. Okay, so as you guys can see here, so let me scroll up. I'm gonna give you one example. So look at this, rate. The data type is float, right? So as you guys can see, it is decimals like 1.6 or 2.1 or 1.2. But if we're talking about year, Look at this. This is like a whole number. This is not decimals, right? Like 2001. Okay, so that's the difference between integer and float in Python in programming. Okay, hopefully now you have a better understanding about these Infectious data sets, because we're going to be working with these data sets in our project, right? So make sure that you understand the structure of the data and make sure that you are familiar with all of these columns. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video, where we are going to learn step by step on how to clean the data sets by removing all missing values and duplicates. So I'll see you guys there.